monsters, runes, and skill stone combinations. Form an alliance with players around the world and help each other earn more rewards. There have been various in-game events like Summoner Academy, Siege Battle Domination, and more. Get crystals and free legend monsters just for logging in every day.
Yo.
To start your adventure, click the link in
This
the
motherfucker dead reading her
description.
promo.
Thanks again to Summoners War Lost Centuria for sponsoring today's video. Now then, let's get started. So the first thing on everyone's mind is, how did the whole get here in the first place? It all started 6 years ago. In 2015, there was a lot of turmoil on the server. Bases being griefed, an incursion happening near spawn, and players trying to gain power and influence.
Yo, what's good, Aiden?
through the use of
How are you doing? Am I lagging? No, it's not bad. I got a vlog coming out today. Yo, every single time I see your name, I'm like, ugh. Maybe I should play some Roblox. I haven't played. Do you play Apex by any chance? Very rarely. Why am I lagging? Maybe I'll be better now. Very occasionally do I play Apex. Very occasionally. Why do you? I should start farming withers. Wither skulls. Just wasting my time coming here. But fuck it. But yeah, I'm very excited for my new vlog coming out. Woohoo! I know what you're thinking. Histieroo, you do vlogs? Yes. Very inconsistently. But yeah. Let me put the stream tags that I usually put. You know what? Maybe I'll play. I'll call John. See if John down to like do something. So here's the thing, I'm a little sick. So I probably shouldn't be drinking seltzer because I only drink it cold. I shouldn't be drinking anything cold, to be honest, but look, we all got our bad habits. Seltzer, you know, at least I don't do drugs. I don't do anything like OD bad. You know what? If I can say seltzer is like my worst quality, then fuck it. That's not such a bad quality. Oh! Finish him! Alright, that worked. He picked up the gold his boy dropped. I'm dead. His boy dead. I'm gonna get a couple more blaze rods while I'm here. But that's not a priority. That's not the main goal of this place right now. I wonder if there's any parts of this fortress that hadn't been loaded. Probably has all been loaded. Yeah, never mind. I don't know why I'm asking a dumb question. I want to find a completely far out fortress that I can make a wither farm, a wither skeleton farm, because I'm going to make a wither farm. Like, well, obsidian farm. That's what I'm gonna make. That's why I need the skulls. Yo, where are these wizards at, bro? Yo, where are these fools at? Yo, where are these wither skeletons at, man? And the thing is, I don't even have looting 3 on me. So this is gonna be a bitch. There you are. Are you serious? I know of another fortress. I feel like I know several other fortresses, but I know of a different one, a specific one. Oh, this is where all y'all at. I know people that don't fuck with me, that are linking up with people that don't fuck with me to fuck with me. Bro. Come at me, you scallion. Bro, I got so hyped for a second. I thought that was a skull. Where is this part of the fortress? Like in the back, at the back. Yo, this fortress is mad annoying. I got a skull. Yes, we got one. I almost fell off.
Hi, my name's Tommy Fury, and I'm here to give you my tier list, but watch me destroy KSI on October 14th. Don't miss it. Live on DAZN pay-per-view. If we're talking in the YouTubing world, he's average. But in the professional world, most likely retire. Anthony Taylor, retire. I just think he's a laughing stock now. I think everybody who fights him, it's just kind of, you know, you're in for a laugh. I feel like when I fought him, before any of this sort of stuff, it was like he come for a fight. But then now I just feel like he's just doing it for a payday. So what's the point?
Your winner by unanimous decision, Pretty Boy, Anthony
Whatever's in there. A little disdain from Schwartz. He wanted more of Nick.
I'm gonna have to say retire. I don't know why he come over to boxing. He was doing well with the rapping stuff. I'd have stuck to that. So sorry, Swarms. Nothing against you, but just talking boxing.
Oh, we got another one. Yo, what are the chances? Maybe it's like, oh, you're not finding that many, so we're just gonna throw it to you.
Jake Paul. I think he's average. I think you know, for the stage he's at, I think he's the best out of the YouTube boxers. But again, in the world of professional boxing, once you start mixing, you know, skill alongside that and all other things, I think he's very average.
Sides away. Nate walks into another right hand. And here comes the flurry from Nate Diaz. Another round where he's finished strong. And there is the end.
I thought it was quite poor showing for him, to be honest. Nate Diaz, you know, he's had a lot of fights in his career. He's took a lot of punishment. Never had a boxing fight before, and by the end of that fight, you know, Nate Diaz was the one pushing the pace. I feel like he got hurt a few times in that fight, so I don't think it was his best showing at all.
Go ahead. The 10-round distance there. They fought at a pace.
Mexican fella. A native.
And he is actually listed as a professional boxer.
Oh, I'm sure he is. He'd have to retire him from what I've seen of him. No good at all.
And if you're B. Dave here, you can't be.
To let the fist fly and the brain work. Polarizing figure.
Logan Paul's 0-4. I don't even think he's got started yet. Yeah, I can't say retired because he's not even got started yet. He's not even won a fight yet. But I think he must have to be poor then, isn't he? Must be.
Really tired. The longer the round goes on, his energy levels drop. Now that's better. He got a right hand, but then pulled him. It pulled him. Timeout's been called.
How'd you respond? Do anything for a couple $1,000s, huh? Like mother, like son, I guess.
Yeah, same thing with your girl, buddy. Don't worry.
Dylan Dennis. He's never had a boxing fight, has he?
No?
Fought a boxing match before?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Well, poor then because he can't retire because he's not started.
Yep, you got it. Good again.
JJ really going to work earlier. Just wanted to maul this guy. He hit him with a holy shot.
Retire. And I will retire him on the 14th. Don't worry about that. Basically, what I think of KSI's performance and all of his opponents, it's been absolutely shocking. And the reason why I say is because Jake Paul, at least he's, you know, put the time in, he's dedicated himself to boxing, he's got the right trainers, the right people around him, and he's taking somewhat proper fights, isn't he? Proper fighters. This man, he's just fighting a load of YouTubers. Like, he's just fighting within YouTube. Whereas Jake Paul, you know, he's gonna mix it with some actual fighters. But this man here, I mean, his last opponent, what was his last opponent? Joe Fournier. Well, Joe Fournier, I don't know how he has a license. Molly could do a better showing, 100%. Didn't want to throw a shot, didn't want to be in there, and that was that. And then the rest of the opponents, well, they can't fight either. So he's going to have a funny shock, because at least Jake Paul, you know, was in there with some fighters. This man comes straight from La La Land, straight into the proper fight. So he's going to have a big, big shock.
Good uppercut! Brilliant uppercut! An impressive night for KSI.
Tommy Fury's in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll slap you.
No, far away from the GOAT, far away from the GOAT. I'd say I was decent. You know, I'm just getting going, just getting started. I've got a lot more experience to gain yet. And that's it, you know.
I genuinely want Tommy Fury to win.
Above this, you know,
I don't like KSI. He's mad and annoying. But we'll see. We'll see. At least to me, he just gives me such a ugh. Like such a whack feeling. I don't know. I don't like him, but I know most people do. And then say he's the best boxer. It's like, bro. I don't like him.
As I'm in the midst of applying for residency right now, wish me luck, Grammarly has again been a lifesaver with my application.
Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. What's up, everybody?
Mazzy Star was responsible for the early 90s sleeper hit Fade Into You. Featuring David Roback, who wrote most of the band's music, he was a talented multi-instrumentalist. He was joined by singer Hope Sandoval, who wrote most of the band's lyrics, the breathy vocalist with a haunting yet hopeful voice. Their hit track was released on the band's 1993 sophomore album, So Tonight That I Might See. There was something pure about the band's sound and the recording process. In a 2020 interview with Refinery 29, Sandoval said, "I like to hang out in restaurants and cafes, eavesdrop on people's conversations, and collect new stories. Then I go home and spend the evenings embellishing them." Part of the band's magic came from the soulmate-like connection between Roback and Sandoval. In a 2018 interview with Double J, Sandoval said that, and I quote, "Half the time we don't even need to speak to each other, we use telepathy." The pair was even rumored to be a couple around the time of recording their debut album, She Hangs Brightly. The song Fade Into You became an anthem for lovelorn teenagers in the 90s, and Hollywood loved it too. The song was licensed in more than 30 movies and television shows, and had artists like Ben Harper, Kelly Clarkson, and Dinosaur Jr. covering the song. But before Roback became a musician, he found himself in New York in the late 70s, wanting to become a painter, telling the LA Times in 1990, "I went to New York mainly to be part of the art scene, but I gradually found myself getting more inspired by what was happening in music than in art, people like Patti Smith and television. I felt like a punk, that's the attitude I identified with, but when I picked up the guitar and started playing it, the music didn't come out sounding punk, it was something else." And after a brief stint in New York, he would head back to Los Angeles. Roback and Sandoval both started off in other bands before coming together to start Mazzy Star. Roback went to UC Berkeley and started his band with his brother Steven, called Unconscious, with Susanna Hoffs, who would later be known for co-founding the Bangles. The two brothers started their next band, Rain Parade, in 1982, and they gained popularity in the LA indie scene. The soft-spoken Sandoval came from East LA, where her parents worked in a factory, and she was the youngest of 10 children. She would form the group Going Home while she was still in high school with friend Sylvia Gomez in the early 80s. Both women were also big fans of Rain Parade, and they decided to make a bold move to get on the band's radar. After a 1983 Rain Parade concert, Gomez snuck backstage to give David Roback a demo tape. At that time, Roback was under a contract with Rough Trade Records, and Going Home was still unsigned, but they were doing gigs around LA. Upon hearing the demo, Roback offered to produce Going Home's first album and play guitar on the record, but even to this day, it's yet to be released. It was also around this time that Roback left Rain Parade and Los Angeles and retreated back to Berkeley, not really feeling a connection to the LA music scene. Roback would briefly join a music collective called Rainy Day, and then went on to form his third band, Clay Allison, which later renamed themselves Opal. He would be joined by vocalist Kendra Smith, and together they would release 1987's Happy Nightmare Baby, but she would depart the band during their tour with the group The Jesus and Mary Chain. Roback was midway through a 2-record deal with Rough Trade, so Sandoval took over Smith's place on vocals. Dave and Hope toured as Opal for 2 years and worked on their planned second album for Rough Trade called Ghost Highway, but they ended up scrapping the material. Sandoval was unhappy with the quality of music the pair had come up with and wanted to start fresh, so they formed a new group called Mazzy Star and headed to Hyde Studios, where they recorded 7 new tracks. These songs would become the basis for Mazzy Star's debut album, 1990's She Hangs Brightly. The album landed them a spot on the Billboard Alternative Songs charts with their cover of the slap-happy song Blue Flower, which would peak at number 29. Sandoval's first bandmate, Sylvia Gomez, also penned the track Give You My Lovin'. Not only that, but the album would be one of the strongest debut records of 1990, making the top 10 on the CMJ New Music Report survey of college and alternative rock radio stations playlists. And Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain even listed the album as his top 50 favorite records. The record still made a mark 4 years later when the song Fade Into You hit it big, and the track Holla charted on the alternative song charts. The band's sound seemed to be heavily influenced by the Paisley Underground, which was a California vocal movement that combined psychedelic sounds with rich vocals, and they were influenced by 60s groups like Love and the Byrds. The band also drew many comparisons to the group Cowboy Junkies, more specifically their double platinum 1988 album The Trinity Season. But Roback pushed back against these comparisons, telling the LA Times, "I've never even heard the Cowboy Junkies record. But then, I don't listen to a lot of contemporary music. I kind of purposely try to avoid it because I don't want to be influenced by it. I prefer the Rip Van Winkle approach to art," he'd say. In the same interview with the LA Times, Sandoval shunned the folk music scene as an influence, instead confessing she was a fan of the Rolling Stones, revealing she had heard the track Love in Vain on a live Stones record and was a big fan ever since. It would be the Stones' Keith Richards who convinced her to pick up guitar. When it came time to promoting the band's work, Roback did 90% of the talking, as Sandoval was very reserved, not talking much about her own personal life or lyrical themes. Roback would tell the Times about Sandoval, "I think Hope deserves a lot of attention. I think she's a great singer and a great songwriter. When I first heard her, I thought she could be someone like Bob Dylan, someone who could speak for a lot of people at her age. I see a lot of hope in her songs. It's like that movie A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. Something nice can come out of a very caustic environment, something that tells you all isn't lost." Soon after the release of the group's debut album, the US branch of Rough Trade Records folded, and the band was quickly picked up by Capitol. They spent the next couple of years working on the material that was to become their sophomore hit, So Tonight That I Might See. The album would produce the band's biggest hit, Fade Into You, but it may surprise you to know that many people have misinterpreted the song, and the pair never anticipated the track to be such a big hit. The dreamy song, whose lyrics talk about heartache and longing, accompanied by piano and slide guitar, is not actually a nostalgic song. Roback would tell the Australian News, "It was never intended to be a nostalgic song, unless you were meant to think about nostalgia for the present, because it really was about the present. We used to walk on the beach a lot and walk around the city. It came almost at the same time. We weren't trying to write a hit song, we were just writing a song." And according to Roback in the same interview, the music came together pretty quickly, with the pair writing the song in about one day. Fade Into You would push So Tonight That I Might See to go platinum, selling over 1 million copies, and the track would peak at number 3 on the modern rock charts in America. It would also have crossover appeal, peaking at number 44 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. So what happened to the band after their second record? Well, the group was still kept in the public eye. In addition to touring and television appearances, their label landed the band some high-profile slots, appearing in the films Batman Forever and Stealing Beauty. As the band's label saw it, these two films kept the band in the public eye, while bookending their demographic, with Batman Forever appealing to the college crowd, while Stealing Beauty appealing to the baby boomers. In 1996, Mazzy Star released their highly anticipated follow-up, Among My Swan. Upon releasing the album, Capitol Records head of marketing Clark Staub spoke to Billboard magazine and discussed how Mazzy Star's demographic crossed generations, telling the publication, "You're not just selling to 14-year-olds, and you're not just selling to 35-year-olds. In the same interview, Staub pointed to the band's favorable press coverage with NPR, People, and Time magazine, and surprisingly, Martha Stewart Living, which included the group's sophomore record, is one of the best albums to play during a dinner party. Staub would say with a laugh, "We didn't ask for that." To help promote the album, the label held a contest among retail outlets based on play counts of the album and in-store sales, with the winning store getting their own personal Mazzy Star concert. The group's third record, Among My Swan, would be a commercial disappointment. It would peak at number 60 concert. The group's third record, Among My Swan, would be a commercial disappointment.
Which one was Among My
It would
Swan?
peak at number
Among
68 on the
My
Billboard album charts.
What? This is such a good album.
It was during this time Sandoval reportedly begged the band's label to be released from their contract, revealing to About.com in 2011, "It seemed record companies wanted bands to be creative because they didn't know how to manufacture underground music. We could do our own thing and go at our own pace. But that changed when major labels started wanting bands that would sell 7 million records. They had a formula, and suddenly all these people wanted to come to the studio to keep track of what we were doing and make sure we were following that formula. So we got out," she said. The band stopped releasing music publicly for almost 13 years, and they went on a temporary hiatus. Sandoval still continued to work with Roback on music, but the pair would tell The Guardian, "We weren't really in the mood to release music." After Mazzy Star went on hiatus in 1997, Sandoval and Roback drifted into other musical projects. Sandoval hinted that the band was going to put out a new record in 2009 during an interview with Rolling Stone, saying, "It's true we're still together, we're almost finished with the record, but I have no idea what that means." During their hiatus, Roback relocated from LA to Norway, collaborating with other artists and even contributing music to art installations. In 2012, the band reunited for a tour with rumors swirling about a forthcoming album. They completed an 18-day tour of California and Europe in 2012, with some dates in 2013 as well. And Roback confirmed that the band was in fact recording a new album called Seasons of Your Day. The album would be officially released in September of 2013, and it would be a career high for the group in the UK, peaking at number 24 on the album charts and number 42 on the Billboard charts in America. Mazzy Star's drummer Keith Mitchell, who played on all of the band's 4 albums, would pass away in May of 2016 after a short battle with cancer. It would be 5 years since the band had reunited for a performance, and they came together again for 3 nights in 2018 at the Sydney Opera House for Vivid Live. That gig would get media attention because some fans walked out of the performance mid-show, since the entire concert was done in the dark, and some concertgoers expressed their displeasure on social media. The same month, the group would release their EP called Still. Roback would keep in touch with his old Opal bandmate Kendra Smith and was working on a re-release of Happy Nightmare Baby and a compilation of their early EPs called Early Recordings. Sadly, he would pass away from cancer on February 24, 2020, before they were both released. Mazzy Star was highly influential in the direction of the 2000s pop music, with The Guardian writing in a 2020 tribute to Roback that, and I quote, "You could clearly detect Mazzy Star's shadow on Lana Del Rey's breakthrough album, Born to Die, more explicit examination of the LA darkness that had always lurked somewhere in Mazzy Star's sound." Roback was mourned by his fellow musicians, and after his death, Sandoval shared a poem on social media with the opening lines, "What will we do now that you leave me here? Even though the dark blue sky is still radiant and filled with the comforting sadness that holds us together." That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like button and subscribe.
Very interesting.
Typical beginner's mistake.
Yes, yes, they all start from the outside.
So, will we help him?
What else? Here, try it with Red Bull.
Red Bull gives you wings.
The body in the blood? Catherine, body in the blood. The body in the blood. The body in the blood. The body in the blood.
Rated R. Only in theaters October 6th.
This is my first press conference. You guys are a bunch of vicious bastards. Man, hearing the way you guys talk, I want to go down there and punch all you in the face. Jesus Christ, you guys are mean.
Allen. Strickland trying to end it, and he does. Sean Strickland. Wow.
You don't want this guy's a champion.
Do something about it.
You don't want this guy's a champion.
Do something about it then.
Bro,
Do something about it.
I will walk outside with you right now. Listen, bro, you're gonna
I
break
don't have
down.
your family,
Calm
no.
down.
I'll break your face. I'll break your face. I'll break my nail in your face.
Man, Alex, get
Hey, mate.
Come on, Jack. Come on, Jack.
Think Strickland wants to fight?
You know, if it wasn't UFC, I'd probably be cooking meth in a trailer in prison, so.
I'm gonna be the best champion you've ever seen. Let's go.
We can
I
all
just need
agree
one
that a
more
professional
Witherspoon,
fighter
bro.
has to be a bit insane to willingly participate in a sport like MMA. But
I feel
even
like I
amongst
have
this
one
rare
at my
breed of
base
men,
already,
there are
but
some
whatever.
individuals that go over the
I'll just
top,
head out.
even by fighter standards.
I already got 2
Today,
today.
we will take a closer look at one
Without
of the
looting,
most
so that's
outspoken
good.
personalities in MMA, Sean Strickland. In just a couple of interviews, you may decide that Strickland is a true psychopath.
The issue that I have, right, this dongle, the valve doesn't work. So what you gotta do, is you just gotta reach it out.
But more like, he is just honest to death. Something very few people today can claim. His usual fighting style can't be further from his personality. As much as Tarzan loves to fight, he usually does it with calm and collected precision, executing a basic but extremely effective volume-oriented striking style, a style that is entirely built on top of his world-class jab. Love him or hate him, Sean Strickland is undoubtedly a personification of the word fighter and is someone you cannot help but tune in to watch. Sean Strickland entered the UFC as a middleweight with a lot of hype, riding on an undefeated 13-fight win streak. of which only 2 came via a decision. We can safely say Sean lived up to the hype, as he needed less than 1 round to choke out Bubba McDaniel and start his UFC career with a bang.
And doing a pretty good job. Oh, now he's teeing up on Bubba. Bubba's in trouble. Nicely done. Bubba is in all sorts of trouble. 30 seconds. Under the trying to finish it. Then it's all over. Beautiful Sean Strickland. 23 years of age. This is what we got. This is the future. This is indeed.
Man, I've been waiting 10 years to step foot in this cage. You guys, I can't express to you how amazed I feel. Thank you, Texas, for letting me come fight here.
We can never let 13-year-olds fight, so of course you had to wait 10 years, my friend.
Strickland's second UFC bout was far from exhilarating, but he did show his solid fundamentals, which eventually carried him to the top of the UFC. He used his crisp jab, precise low kicks, and well-timed head movement to win the nod from 2 of the judges and a second UFC win. Despite his success at middleweight, Strickland decided to go down a weight class and squared off against Santiago Ponzinibbio in front of the always ecstatic crowd in Brazil. The bout quickly turned into a real fight, and both men landed some heavy leather under the roaring cheers.
Oh, look at this. He just dropped him, caught him off balance. Harping on the conditions. Big kick lands, at least partially, for Ponzinibbio. Oh, big right hand. There it is again.
Sean managed to better use his range in the second, and still connected with a few tomahawks. Strickland's great jab was not enough to hold off the aggression of the Argentinian, and he had to come to terms with losing for the first time in his career.
Yo, what's good, Melons? How you doing? My bad. I'm like watching this video. It's pretty
Strickland was back on the preliminary card for his next fight, which he won in a dominating fashion against Igor Araujo. A cock kick from Sean.
Let me see if I have another with a skull. I feel like I don't.
Who managed to
I have a
get back on
skeleton
his
skull,
feet
but not
only
with
to suffer a Strickland flurry that nearly ended the fight. He somehow managed to survive the round, but Sean always seemed only a shot away from delivering the KO. He seemed content to fight patiently and use his superior jab and distance management to pepper his opponent with punches and cruise to a landslide decision. The shorter Alex Garcia decided not to try and maneuver around Strickland's reach and shot for a takedown early on, only to find himself smothered on his back for most of the round, even though he managed to reverse the position at one point.
And he's able to reverse position and get on top. Ooh, big right hand.
His new tactic in the second was to wing overhands as hard as he could, in contrast to Strickland's tight and technical striking.
You know, when you know you're giving up tremendous reach and you've got to close distance.
Strickland found himself on the mat yet again in the third, but once the fight got back into striking range, his volume proved too much for the fading Garcia.
And there it is, and easily defended by Sean Strickland. And goes right back to working that jab. Garcia may be hurt here. Looks a little wobbly on those legs, and he is. Sean Strickland now searching for the finish. Garcia's hurt bad. Strickland, Garcia's down! Sean Strickland with a massive KO!
Here with your winner, Sean Strickland. Congratulations, 6 days shy of your 25th birthday, your most complete performance inside the octagon. How you feeling about your performance tonight, man?
Man, every day I get in this cage, I feel better. Training feels better. The crowd was great. It feels like my home. I love it. The crowd fires me up. I want to go again.
After an uneventful fight against Tom Breeze, where he utilized a strong jab to win a split decision, he would face future welterweight king, Kamaru Usman. In his own words, Strickland remembers having no chance against the Nigerian. In his typical fashion, Kamaru plowed through Strickland and utilized his otherworldly wrestling to win a unanimous decision. Strickland used his crisp long punches and precise distance control against Court McGee. The fight got fired up late in the third, but Sean couldn't get the finish. The result was initially declared a draw, but after a mistake in the calculations was found, it was turned into a split decision win for Strickland. Strickland's third professional loss came against Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. The lifelong capoeira practitioner launched an incredibly timed spinning heel kick that almost completely shut off Sean. While the kick did not finish the job, a few more punches sealed the deal just a few moments later.
With the Wells Fargo Active Cash Card, you earn 2% cash back on what you want, like first date plans and need.
No. Just my shoe.
Like maybe shoes without laces. The Wells Fargo Active Cash Card. That's real life ready.
Oh, my bad. I'm like so focused on this video I'm watching. Nah, the server's not public. It's like a private. Well, originally it was a single player world, and then I put it on the server, but it's like whitelist only. Like I've only added people
Strickland had to make a
that
strong
like
impression in his
I've
final
known for
fight
like
of
a
his
little bit. Like
contract,
I would have to get to
and
know
he
people
did
before I
just
add
that
them.
against Nordine Taleb. In the opening stanza,
Because I want to add
Strickland
someone
answered with
that
a
I think it's
straight
like
punch to
some
every
type of
Taleb
anarchy
low kick.
server, when
The
it's
game
really not.
continued until he dropped
You know
him
what I
with
mean?
a
Sorry if I
heavy
sound sick. I'm a little
Good
sick.
tri-star
but,
fighter's got a wicked power double, especially if he's under this kind of...
Right from Strickland.
Sean entered into Tarzan mode and left his usual calculated punching in favor of more powerful punches. But he still kept his distance control despite the seemingly reckless punching. A few more sharp rights, and Taleb was on the ground and on his back, on the receiving end of a deadly barrage.
It's got to be the finish. Taleb's trying to reach up and control, but just like that. Big right direct shots here.
Another one as Strickland goes down, and that's it.
Alright, let's head over. I'm gonna head over to the canal and try and extend it.
No, really what it was, this was my last fight of my contract, like the other guy said. So I knew I had to kind of sack up a little bit and step in and hit. I see my lifetime of work going out the window, so that was my adjustment.
In his return from a nasty incident that kept him away from the octagon for 2 years, Sean made the headlines, despite being buried halfway on the prelims. Once again back at middleweight, Sean demonstrated his further polished skill of keeping his opponents right on the end of his punches.
Oh, wow, nice counter right cross from Strickland.
Heavy right hand, and then once again,
18, so here he is 2 years later to the week. The dust settled, it was a knee injury. Doctor said attack from...
Jack Marshman defended most of those punches with his face, but kept fighting nonetheless.
Is that the same Fox? Oh, I'm about to say, this motherfucker broke out.
Strickland with
I was
another
about to say.
A few dozen punches later, Strickland turned up his smack-talking game, clearly audible in the silence of the apex.
Instructions there.
You know, that's the beauty of no crowd.
Right.
In which Strickland showcased his inimitable sense of humor and basic but very effective striking style.
Come on, Jack, we're fighting for the city.
Sean's landing the biggest shots.
To Marshman's credit, though, he did try to get the KO until the very end, despite the hopelessness of the task.
You bring some fucking heat to your rounds. Bro, you just can't fall. Why don't you fall? I hit Nordine with half of what I hit you with.
They don't fall like that, Brendan. Oh, he nearly did there, though.
Yeah, we're not making a performance.
Oh, he nearly did there, though.
Yeah, we're not making a performance if you keep fucking not going down. Okay, Jack. I knew you seen it coming.
Oh, man, goes up with a kick.
1 minute. You got 1 minute to get the knockout.
I'll give you a chance to win. Just go hard.
I told you.
Come on, Jack. Come on, Jack.
Big Strickland wants to fight.
5 seconds, Jack. Jack, why is your head made of steel? Tell me, what do you do?
He said,
Is it
why?
the military?
He's-
Was that too bad, bro? You came at me and you kept following up.
Sean Tarzan
He said, why's your head?
I know I joke about me dropping out of high school and like this is all I do, but whenever I first had my accident, I had a lot of doctors. Every doctor I spoke to was telling me that, hey, you can fight for sure, but you probably shouldn't fight. So the hardest thing was just kind of telling these doctors to shut up, like you don't know what I can or can't do. Oh yeah, no, I mean, it would come down. I mean, I remember waking up, going into surgery off my bike, having the surgeon, like, I started crying. Not crying because, like, I wasn't crying because of pain or anything. I couldn't do anything. I was crying because when you're hearing a surgeon saying, hey, you're in a motorcycle accident, I just seen, like, my dreams just drift away. That was one of the hardest things. And after 12 weeks, you know, you start building yourself back up. You'll be good in 6 months. And you talk to a doctor, and they're like, whoa, hey, you're still missing part of your kneecap. You still have a complete tear in your quad. And they start telling you all these things, and you're like, well, you can get it fixed, but you'll be out for a minimum of another 2 years. Like, no, I can't afford to be out for another 2 years. Like, humans are capable of so much, and the problem is we let so many people tell us what we can and cannot do. Man, you could do anything. You just got to man up or woman up and do it, you know? You can do anything.
Sean kept the train rolling after his stellar performance and returned to the octagon less than a month later to face Brendan Allen in a catch-weight bout. The two men seemed evenly matched, but we saw how Strickland began to put more weight behind his punches, while still moving away from danger almost every time he landed a single strike or combination.
Alright.
A long jab continued to set up the right.
Here, maybe
Despite
one day
some
I'll.
good moments from
Oh,
Allen,
we're getting that.
the
Work
volume
another
and
spawn.
damage piled up
Another
until
super
Allen just couldn't take any more.
With the work that he had. Nice combos from Sean though, look at that. Power. That got his attention though, that car kick.
Another jab. Good 1-2 on that wide Allen. Strickland trying to end it, and he does. Sean Strickland. Wow.
The new and improved Strickland was once again on display against Krzysztof Jotko. Despite still not putting everything behind his punches, Strickland's power was very evident, and he was unloading the harder shots. A staple of Strickland's striking style is his evasiveness after each thrown attack, a tactic right out of boxing textbooks. In the second, he continued using his trusty 1-2 and head movement, while adding a nice kick here and there to edge further away on the scorecards. Strickland kept his stoic look and played to his strengths en route to his 4th win in a row.
Elbow stays where it is against his body. I'm sure I'll hear about it later.
Oh, out from the referee that catches your attention.
That's true. We're not in a gym. Luckily, we don't have a crowd.
I'll have to get you one.
Thanks.
I know 30 seconds of this one, and now they're flying to me.
It's a dominating fight for Sean. Good performance. Back some good shots when he had to, but tonight was another good in these closing seconds. But unfortunately,
Right there for the counter shot all the way. One final spinning attempt from Jotko.
Tarzan Strickland!
Oh, man, I'm a little annoyed I got hit with that elbow, man. That's kind of embarrassing, but whatever. You know, man, it's just like the way he fights, it's so hard to connect, and I'm not really necessarily a guy that comes forward. I like to kind of be in the phone booth, and just the way he was backing up, man, it made it way too hard to put some hands on him. Oh, I mean, he raised his hand. I told him he lost. Yeah, he's a good guy, dude, and I know I could be a and I have any man that shares the octagon with me, win or lose, I respect. You know, and sometimes I can come out like an arrogant but he has all my respect. You know, man, I just love being a UFC fighter. Like, every day I wake up and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for Dana White. I'm grateful for the fans. So it doesn't matter who it is. As long as I'm in that octagon, man, I'm happy. I don't care.
The Jotko win earned Sean his first main event spot against veteran Uriah Hall. Tarzan quickly set the pace with his slick jab and put Hall on the back foot. Hall, a deadly striker in his own right, looked to counter the jab on every occasion.
80% of them have been his jab.
Hall definitely has the advantage in knockout power.
I mean, Strickland,
yeah,
he's got Hall backing up. Michael Bisping, his incredible night of fights here in Vegas. By Uriah Hall.
Hall landed some leather in the second, but was quickly put in his place by a couple of combinations. Jab after jab, Strickland was winning the fight.
Going forward, the spinning attacks and things like that.
Middleweight in the UFC for Sean Strickland, but he started.
He's hurt.
Heavy takedown.
Hall then had to survive a very close call on the ground, but he did manage to see the end of the third.
Sean's posturing up.
By now, you might have noticed that Strickland's jabs do not return straight back to his face, but the timing, speed, and distance he throws them with leaves Hall and all the other opponents unable to meaningfully counter. In the fourth, Strickland even hurt Hall with a piston jab, but the former tough winner survived again.
Goes in for a takedown.
Big knee.
In the last round, Hall tried to stage a comeback, but Sean's subtle head and shoulder movements kept him from harm. Undeterred, Strickland stuck to the basics and marched forward with punishing combinations to win a lopsided decision.
See, I'm definitely gonna put like Obsidian for this. Like, if I get Obsidian going, like a farm.
Nice right hand.
His first headliner in the UFC. Sean Strickland just put on a performance that proves that he belongs with the elite.
Sean Tarzan Strickland!
pretty dominant performance out there tonight. I mean, you won every round. So what's the feel like right now?
I mean, I feel like I need to learn how to hit harder. Kind of hit like a pansy, you know. It kind of sucked. They're like, you know, you won the middleweight striking record. It's like, what does that mean? I just can't hit that hard. I think after I'm done fighting, though, I'm gonna go on a shroom journey. Everybody swears by shrooms, you know. My pad man, he's always trying to take me on a shroom journey. So maybe after I'm done fighting, you know, I don't know if I'll go meth, maybe acid or something. You know? But here's the thing, dude. If you don't have a lot of issues, go do drugs, have fun, enjoy life. But if you're a guy who has addictive personality, you know, you watch too much porn, whatever you have to do, stay away from drugs, you guys. It's gonna your life up.
Is that your problem? Too much porn?
Oh yeah, I mean, are you kidding me? I'm a man in the UFC. That's everyone's problem. You guys gotta jerk off. Like I don't know if you're having sex on the regular, but like you gotta jerk off once or twice a day, man. If you don't use it, you lose it. I'm also left-handed, so that's why my jab's so good.
Strickland is famous for calling wrestling a coward sport, but this does not stop him from
Alright,
training
like
and improving his takedown defense, which cost him 2 of his 3 losses by this point. In the fight against prolific wrestler Jack Hermanson, Sean was his calm self from the very beginning and took his time establishing the jab while defending the takedown attempts. Hermanson was forced to engage in the stand-up, where he was not suffering significant damage up until the...
Let me see something. Let me see the video for
I think I'm the only person on Earth who still plays Witch's Broom.
You think so? Whatever game you play, State Farm supports you. We're not alone. They have a potluck every Tuesday.
Amber! That's what I brought.
Yo, this long ass fucking shit. I just need to see the material list. Alright. Damn. Alright. I can get this. I can get a lot of this. Yeah, I can definitely get all of this. I didn't even know there was like a little shipwreck off the canal. Let me get some soul sand. Where is soul sand actually? Fuck, I wanted to sneeze so bad there. Fuck. Oh, that doesn't feel good, man. Yeah, that felt like shit. But whatever. I guess I'm missing a shoulder box. How much glass do I need? 230, okay. It was good, Rayon. How you doing?
The very end of the second round.
Not afraid to stand and exchange. That's what he's doing.
And Strickland's using that double jab.
Ready to be an e-commerce pioneer? Bluehost has step-by-step WordPress onboarding to make creating and running a great online.
Well, stepping back, lowering his head. The thing is, in that Marshman fight, he had his number. He was picking him apart.
A minute to go, round 2. 5 seconds around number 2. Oh, and right from Strickland.
Tarzan continued popping the Joker's face with the same straight shots that were landing all night long and staying just out of range to be hit.
Jack's gonna go again though. When he backs him up like that,
Trying to counter.
Once again,
essentially winning this fight with a jab. Hey,
first 3 rounds with the jab. And again, that first round was close.
But this was never going to be how Jack Hermanson wins this fight.
Hermanson pushed the pedal in the 4th, but Sean's answer was more jabs and right straights to the face.
Moving just slightly out of the way. Cardio because he's always fighting.
Skilled opponent. I'd like to see him now. You've got the measure. The fight. Let's put a little sting on it now. Let's see some nastiness. Let's go for the finish. That's without question. And that's impressive against Hermanson.
Yeah. I tell you, there's no value there, but I don't have this one.
Be a safe bet, I think.
Strickland has eclipsed the 100 mark.
That's about it. Nose.
You know.
Throw down on the feet.
Uses jab.
Well, not sure wants to throw down.
The split decision win inched Strickland closer to a potential title.
You got an objective?
Sean was supposed to be
Right now I want to make a wither farm. Like, well, an obsidian farm. That's like the only objective I have. So I found a video online, and I'm just getting the materials for it.
We all expected fireworks on the feet, but Strickland took the danger a bit too lightly, to say it modestly. Sean started the fight on the front foot, pushing the pace and trying to establish the jab. His big mistake, which sparked the creation of more than a few memes, was calmly walking towards one of the deadliest strikers on the planet with his hands at his chest. The expected happened, and Pereira landed his touch of death left hook and a quick right hand for
So I need 3
KO.
stacks and 38.
Well, that sucks. You never want to be someone's highlight, but that's the game we play. You know, I tried to stand there with my best kickboxers. During the round, I kept thinking, man, this is going to be an easy fight. I see everything this guy's throwing. I'm getting the better of the exchanges. I'm going to beat this guy up for 3 rounds. And then halfway through, I got caught. So hats off to Alex. He's a killer.
But yeah, that's the only goal I have right now. And also work on my canal. I'm mainly just trying to get obsidian so that I can work on my canal. Because they have a canal in 2B2T. And it looks really cool. So I kind of want to use obsidian for mine. Also just having obsidian would be pretty fire.
And mostly stayed this way the entire time. Sean used his usual pressure and even mixed in some grappling while Jared was a bit more efficient on the feet. The
You know, let me
pace
just
of the
get
second
more while
remained
I'm at it.
steady, with Sean setting in behind his jab
Let me just get this
and
whole
starting
thing.
to land his trademark 1-2s, one of which stung Cannoneer, who in turn landed a solid right.
Pads, shin pads. Oh.
Get like another stack or something.
In the 3rd and 4th, the situation was similar, with Strickland landing more volume, while Cannoneer's power shots drew a bigger reaction out of him.
Good check there from Strickland.
It's proven to be elusive.
At the start of the final stanza, the fight was there for the taking. Both men landed big shots, and the striking totals were close, with the only visible damage being Sean's bloody nose. In the end, there was not a single round all 3 judges saw the same, which shows how even the match was.
There it is, Tom, that hook. Whoa! Now a big left.
Saw Dober have to do perspective.
Alright, there we go.
See. Excuse me, when you go conventional.
That's definitely enough.
Double jab.
Towards
to the horn. Strickland. And we go 25 minutes between.
For your winner by split decision, Jared, the Killer Gorilla Cannonier!
Sean managed to get back into the win column and wash the sour taste of losing off less than a month later. Nasruddin Imavov was originally slated to face Kelvin Gastelum, but instead fought Strickland, who came in on 4 days' notice. So the fight was held at 205 pounds instead of middleweight.
How did this fight come about then? I mean, have you been itching to get back in there because of this, or did they come to you?
God, no. I was currently planning a snowboarding trip, and then Mick calls me. I'm like, oh, Mick is going to ask me to do something I don't want to do. We'll pay you a decent amount of money. And I said, well, God damn it, I'm Huckleberry. Let's go fight a man. I'm not going to try to say that name, man. Let's just call him the Frenchie. The Frenchie. And if we learned anything about the French, what are the French best at? Giving up. So.
Have you ever considered a job as a stand-up comedian at some point in your career?
No, man. I don't know. I look at people and I just like to make fun of you guys. I can't help it, you know?
This time, Sean corrected his mistake from the Cannonier fight and started the fight with urgency and aggression. He immediately asserted his style of boxing and started putting together 1-2s.
You stream often? A little bit. My bad. I'm like kind of watching this video and kind of trying to get stuff. But lately, I've been working a lot, going to school, so I try and stream as often as I can. You know. I have a video coming out today since I haven't been streaming too much. I have like a little vlog coming out, which I was inconsistent with that. I was supposed to do it like every week, but I became mad inconsistent. I haven't posted a vlog in like a month. But like I have all the footage, I just haven't edited it because I become a home mad tired, bro. Mad tired. My bad about responding mad late. Isn't there? Oh, chill. I gotta move away from that thing. There was more of the candy cane fish. I want to get a different one. Even though these are pretty extremely common to find. But I do want to keep these. I do want to keep like one. I don't know. I'll just get another one. Get these ones. These are beta, I believe. Like beta fish. Oh no, these are the parrotfish. Bro, I used to know every single one of these fish when I was making my aquarium. And now I don't know. Like, Jack. I literally said the candy kingfish, bro. Like, I would be able to tell you the parrotfish, every single color and the variant and what color comes first and stuff like that. Like, I was really hustling to make that aquarium. I'll get at least two of each.
Considered a very dangerous opponent despite being unranked. Magomedov started quickly, an expensive barrage of kicks before an eye poke in the opening 30 seconds slowed the action right back down. When the action resumed, Magomedov was tearing up Sean's lead leg and was having success with powerful hooks.
Oh. Thank God. I was like, wait, that doesn't just happen.
But once the bell for the second round rang, it was a different story. Strickland plodded forward and started landing heavy shots and backed up Magomedov into the fence, where he completely brutalized him.
Nice combination. Going to a shell. Just allows Sean to tee off. There's a good one too. Sean very accurate now.
Level changes, look to clinch up.
He's going to be looking to see a third round. Met up on the ropes.
Just throwing these straight shots.
I gotta remember to have a boat with me. I've been working on this highway. That's the problem. I'm working on like too many things, but the highway is like a continuous thing. Like, will always happen, you know. Like, I'll always be kind of working on this highway. The ice is the easiest part, I think. But the bricks, that is a little difficult. Even this is pretty, not that too hard to get.
Hey, the UFC is the one that pays me. But without you guys, I want to get a check. And they paid me really
So thank you. The moment my brain clicked, and I was like, oh man, this guy can't box. And the dude just came nose to nose and put it in a phone booth and do the man dance. But and that's where it is, well-rounded, man. I went and trained with Alex. I trained with undefeated boxers. You know, I can fight anywhere, and if you're better than me somewhere, I'll take the fight somewhere else.
I've heard you say in interviews that you love fighting, you hate fighting, but the way you fight with something else. Where do you fight from?
You see people go through their life and it's boring, it sucks. Every day they wake up in routine, they go to the job, they sit by the pool, they grab a beer, they drink, and they're just waiting to die. I love what I do. It's scary, it sucks, man, but you're in there and it's like, it's meaningful. It's the only kind of meaning that we have in our life. It's real. Guys get hurt, guys can bleed. Like, it's something so primitive that, like, as much as I hate being in there and I think it shortens my life because the mental mindset, man, like, it is the only time I feel like I'm alive. It's the only time that I feel like I'm just not waiting to die when I'm in there fighting. And even though I hate it, it gives me purpose.
Critics and analysts say that you're not a finisher. You don't finish fights. How good it feels to go out there and finish this guy?
You guys, I don't hit hard, man. I'll be the first one to play, man. I don't hit hard, but I hit a lot. The best thing about him is I didn't have to finish him. He just wanted to go home. So thank you for not having me to. Thank you for not relying on the
yeah, I stream here and there. When was my last stream? I go through little spurts. But I will say I at least stream like once, twice a week. At the very least. But I do try and stream, and if I'm not streaming, I'll open up my world to like people that are on stream, or I'll still be. If someone says something in my Discord, I'll still try and talk. I'll still try and communicate. I'm not like a complete dickhead.
Regardless of the result. Sean Strickland is known for his interviews as much as he is for his fighting. Where others might say the correct thing, Sean says exactly what is on his mind, and this rubs a lot of people the
Building
wrong way.
block, I need 34.
We're thankful for it. And if you are not a fan of his honesty and views, you can just enjoy and appreciate his head-up boxing one-on-one style of using the jab to set up the right, executed at the highest level of MMA.
Alright, 34. How many stairs do I need? 32 stairs. Do I have 32 stairs? I'd rather get like a stone block of stairs. Do I have a grindstone? I think I have one upstairs. Oh no, I have one outside.
Few fighters have a highlight reel of violent finishes that can match that of Brazilian striking phenom Edson Barboza. A complete arsenal of thunderous and deadly kicks, combined with unmatched explosiveness, has wrought chaos and mayhem in the UFC's featherweight and lightweight.
Was it 26 or 22? I mean 32. Okay, 32.
Rich collection of techniques to pile up knockouts using kicks, knees, and punches in 23 fights for the world's premier MMA organization. The Brazilian managed to become the first fighter to finish a fight using a spinning wheel kick. The victim of the infinitely rewatchable knockout was Terry Evan. While other fighters have managed to repeat this feat, Barboza still proudly wears the medal of the only fighter to finish 2 bouts with leg kicks in the UFC. Edson's leg kick story began 1 fight before he entered the UFC. Most fighters use leg kicks to slow down and confuse their opponents, but Barboza has proved that this strike has real fight-ending potential, long before the calf and low kicks were used as widely as today. The fight with Marcelo Giudice for the Ring of Combat lightweight title showcased what Barboza would later be known for: textbook perfect striking technique and lightning-fast kicks. A minute into the first round, it became clear that Giudice was light years away from the speed and refinement of
Redstone.
And only 3 minutes after the start of the fight, we witnessed the rarest of sights: a tap to the leg kicks. Edson's UFC debut came in a similarly spectacular fashion, nearly amping amputating the left leg of Mike Lulo.
When you're trying to regain half guard, you have to also hold on to his body. A positional opportunity. Big kick. Yeah, those are thunder. Now, pull guard. When he gets that, there you go. And these leg kicks are powerful. These are the kind of leg kicks you see in professional Muay Thai. And we always talk about that, Mike, the difference between the level of stand-up. You can see it right away in the power and the efficiency of his technique. Oh!
Accidentally made one too many.
And by the way, he's landed maybe 6 or 7 of those kicks on Lulo, and Lulo looks more.
Do I need
but that left leg is
sticky
right
pistons?
now.
I do.
Fuck.
Oh, I need to probably make a cut for him.
You can see the redness on that left thigh. That left leg is
Oh,
doomed.
okay, perfect. I have slime ball.
Man, that right leg comes so fast. And note when he's throwing these kicks, Mike, his back heel's always off the ground. He's unable to at this point. Oh, head kick. And a right hand. Oh, switch right to the body. Man! And maybe a fresh left leg. He's just eating him. Oh, that one just collapsed. Yep. Barboza just threw a nice feint there. Oh. How many more of these can he take? Tough dude. He's landed some big shots on Lulo. Oh, another one. He got up very gingerly.
Oh, my goodness. Jose Aldo, which we talked about earlier.
Again. Man.
Final seconds of the round.
Do as much as he can to circle away.
Yeah. And again.
That's it. That's it. Stop the fight.
How many power rails I did?
It is all over.
Good job by
Good call. Good by the referee, Mark Fennell.
Do I have more?
The second and still record-holding leg kick finish in the UFC came 3 years later at UFC 162. This time, the victim's name was Rafael Oliveira, who got chopped down mercilessly.
Leg kicks. Oh, hard one to the body.
Against Mike Lulo in 26 seconds of the third.
Yeah, that was a leg kick exhibition. Oh, man.
Any 5 levers?
I think that's nice spinning back kick to the body. I think that's a disservice. Oh, man, those are hard. Man. Hoppy closed the distance there and got a hold of him, but man, another hard leg kick.
And Joe, as you mentioned, Barboza.
He's in trouble right now, Mike. He's in big trouble.
Yeah, might
that
do it
left
again.
leg he started limping on that left leg.
And again.
But you're seeing him not able to push off that left leg anymore.
Big first round.
Wheel kick.
Oliveira said, you got to throw some combos. You've got to get inside and work in tight distance as he's knocked down
right
again.
hand. Has not switched his stance. He still has that left leg forward. And you can see how nasty. Oh, he's got him down. He's got Barboza down.
Edson Barboza, I mean, more than anything, Joe, he's fun to watch. And he believes.
Look at the swelling on that leg. Oh, man.
You could hear that one.
I can remember it a long time. You're seeing horrible swelling.
That one got him again.
Look at the swelling on that thing. I mean, he's a one-legged fighter right now. I can't.
He can't do it much longer.
That's it. That's it.
It is all over. Edson Barboza finishes a fight.
Goddamn.
The Netherworld border is considered the loneliest place.
4 iron bars. I have to have iron bars.
30 million blocks away from the center of the Nether. You
Yeah, I
would
guess
have
I
to be
don't
insane
have to.
try and dig a tunnel all the way out there. Well, for the past 13 months,
How many?
on the oldest anarchy
Only
server
4.
in Minecraft, 2 separate accounts have been racing each other to become the first to make it to the Nether border legitimately. They've
And
broken millions of
rails.
blocks of netherrack, and in the process
Those 4,
have
right?
set the record for the longest tunnel ever
Look at
built
my
in
iron
Minecraft
blocks.
history. You're probably already wondering, why would people spend over 1 year of their lives digging a straight line in Minecraft? Well, traveling to the Netherworld border was considered the last true milestone that had not yet been achieved on 2B2T. So today, we'll discuss the history of the Nether Border Dig project, the challenges that were faced along the way, how it eventually turned into a race, and the surprising ending that no one expected. You won't believe the results. This expedition was a crazy topic to document, so as always, if you hit that subscribe button, I appreciate your support. Now, it all started in April of 2020 at a base on the server called Hopin. Two of the players that were living there at the time were named Zonga and Family Pumpkin. Both of them had grown bored, and with much of the world going into lockdown, they had a lot of spare time at their disposal. They wanted to accomplish a massive project that no one had ever done before. The idea of digging all the way to the Nether's world border was brought up as a joke. Both the overworld and end dimension borders had already been reached legitimately in 2017, but the Nether border had not. It was long considered a fool's errand. While glitching onto the Nether roof and just walking was the easiest way to get there in single player, on 2B2T, plugins prevent the roof from being traveled on. So to get there without the use of exploits, you would have to dig a tunnel that was at least 30 million blocks long. That's the real-life equivalent of 18,000 miles or 30,000 kilometers. After doing some math, they realized that while it would take an absolutely absurd amount of time to dig, it wouldn't be as improbable as they originally thought. If they had access to enough diamond pickaxes and took turns using the same Minecraft account, it was actually doable. So it was decided they were going to do the impossible and travel all the way to the Nether world border. They made their way to Point Nemo, which was where the overworld border was reached by the original X-Highway group in 2017. Once there, they quietly began recruiting people that were willing to help with the expedition. By starting at Point Nemo's Nether coordinates, they would need to travel another 26 million blocks to reach their destination. One of the people recruited was named Jordan L666. In 2018, he had attempted to travel to the border using an exploit called Boat Phase. It allowed someone to fly through solid nether chunks so quickly that they wouldn't even properly load, appearing completely invisible. He managed to make it 20 million blocks out before the exploit was fixed, and he ended up back at spawn. This meant that he held the verified record for farthest distance traveled in the Nether. With him on board and the rest of the team assembled, they obtained the coordinates to one of the stashes used by the original X-Highway group. They would use these materials to gear up for the journey, and in mid-April, the expedition finally began. An account was chosen that would be shared between them, so they could take turns using it while other members were sleeping. While they had prepared for digging a tunnel, it was decided that fireworks and elytra would be used to fly there. But navigating around Nether terrain constantly proved to be incredibly frustrating. After 1 month of travel, they had gone over 1 million blocks when they hit their first major obstacle. The account had glitched and accidentally died in lava, causing it to go back to the overworld border. This death was a huge inconvenience, so it was decided that instead of risking another glitch, they would just bite the bullet and dig a tunnel all the way to the border. So in May of 2020, the Nether Border Tunnel project was officially started. The group members would take turns digging the tunnel, repairing the pickaxes, and occasionally resupplying if necessary. It didn't take long for them to catch up to where the account had originally died. As they continued on, they began to find blocks that Jordan had left behind from his previous boat phase expedition. In August of 2020, after 3 months of digging, they managed to make it 8 million blocks in the Nether. At this point, they were still the only ones attempting to reach the border, so it wasn't a race, at least not yet. But not long after this milestone, tragedy would strike. One of the members of the team had used a backdoored hack client which stole the login credentials of the shared account. The hacker logged in expecting to find a base or an item stash, but when he realized it was just a simple nether tunnel, he threw the account into lava. He didn't just send it back to the overworld border, he sent it back to spawn. This meant that the account would have to walk 8 million blocks just to resume progress. This was a major blow to the dig team's morale, and it would take months for them to return to where they left off. By January of 2021, the team had recovered and had managed to reach 10 million blocks. they found a sign that Jordan had previously left with the boat phase exploit. This motivated the group, and progress started accelerating. Just 1 month later, they managed to reach 15 million blocks, the official halfway point to the nether border. They built a milestone to celebrate their achievement, but little did they know that this secret project was about to turn into a race. Enter Hare Yukai, a 2B2T player with an interest in automation. He was a member of the group MEG, or the Motorway Extension Gurus, who had done a lot of work building roads in the Nether. He had been experimenting with Baritone to make a completely self-sufficient mining bot. It was capable of digging tunnels and repairing its own gear without the need for user input. To put it to the ultimate test, he decided he would automatically dig all the way to the eastern nether border, having no idea that the dig team was trying to reach the exact same one. He had spent months preparing the account with the proper gear, and since he was worried about the bot being killed by PvPers, he decided to start a completely fresh tunnel 30,000 blocks off the axis, so it would run parallel to the highway. Despite starting the tunnel near spawn, he calculated that if conditions were optimal and he left his computer running the entire time, the bot could reach the border in 1,500 hours, or 63 days of non-stop mining. So in late February, the bot began its long journey, and unknown to both parties, they were now racing each other to the nether border. The dig team continued to make steady progress, breaking millions of blocks of netherrack every few weeks. But Hare's bot was able to stay logged in 24/7 without getting kicked, and only disconnected for server restarts. Because it was constantly digging and repairing its gear without breaks, it was slowly able to catch up. In early April, the bot actually managed to take the lead, with the dig team being blissfully unaware that their achievement could potentially be stolen from them. Regardless, they continued working at their regular pace. On May 5th, 2021, the team managed to make it to 20 million blocks in the nether and built another milestone. The hype within the group was very strong at this point. It seemed certain that they would reach their goal sooner than expected. But on May 14th, 2021, everything changed. Hare's bot had made it to the border in just 77 days, only 2 weeks longer than the original calculation. His account was now the first ever to dig a tunnel all the way. When news of the milestone began to spread, the dig team didn't believe it. One of the members dug a side tunnel 30,000 blocks north, and to their complete shock, there was indeed a second tunnel. It was real, and the dig team was crushed by the news. A goal they had been working on for an entire year had been stolen right under their noses. Feeling bad, Hare got into contact with the group and apologized. He had no idea the dig team was attempting to reach the border, and his bot was merely a proof of concept. At this point, he actually encouraged the team to continue. Since their tunnel was directly on the X highway, it meant completing the dig would technically break the record for the longest tunnel ever built in Minecraft history. This prospect reinvigorated the group, and with Hare joining forces with them, they continued their dig to the border. It's a good thing they did, because what they would end up finding was truly bizarre. At around 25 million blocks, the team came across signs at a pre-built rest stop, despite there being no tunnels connected to it. These signs were dated 2017, the same year that the overworld border was reached. They quickly realized that it was actually a replica of one of the original rest stops on the X highway. But how did it get here? And why was it here? The dig team was puzzled, and they knew something wasn't quite right. They took note of the rest stop and continued digging. As they got closer to the border and built more milestones, the group's hype was at an all-time high. Finally, on June 22nd, 2021, Zonga livestreamed himself completing the journey to the world border. Stretching almost 34 million blocks, the dig team's tunnel was now the longest in Minecraft history. The primary account that had been used for the dig had a completely wacky statistics page and had dug so much netherrack that it couldn't even show the entire number. But at the border, the truth was finally confirmed. Neither Hare or the dig team had been the first to see the border with their own eyes. Signs were found from 2020, left by a player named Iron Exception. It turned out that Iron was one of a few players that had used a teleport exploit to travel to the border a month before the team had even started their dig. He had won the race before it even began. Iron had also been responsible for creating the replica rest stop, as he thought it'd be a funny way to troll anyone crazy enough to dig all the way to the border. When questioned about the teleport exploit, all Iron said was "can't say." So the race to the nether border was finally over, and the longest tunnel in Minecraft history was completed. All 3 borders had now been reached through traditional means without the use of exploits.
Ahora puedo obtener mi Experience Credit Report completamente en español. Gracias. I get it right on my phone. It's so easy. Además, podría ayudar a mis papás con su crédito.
Get yours at experian.com/gratis.
Some people wake up and check their phones. Check the weather, check the news, check their stocks. I check SEMrush. With more than 55 digital marketing tools, I get all the data I need to jumpstart my day. I use the SEMrush keyword search tool to help make any business visible online. I can win an...
The Furnace, one of Minecraft's most iconic and
Okay,
useful
so
modes,
my
has
any
become
3
a
with their heads,
weapon
of
of
course.
war on the oldest Anarchy server in Minecraft.
I'm gonna just have that in
You
there.
heard that correctly. This basic block is now an offensive weapon. How? How does something used to cook food and smelt blocks become a weapon? Well, on a server that pushes Minecraft to its absolute limits, are you actually surprised that players have discovered how to use it in such a way? The explanation behind how it works is insane, and in today's video, we'll discuss how it's being used as a weapon, why it's being used, and even log into the server ourselves to see it in action firsthand. Today's video is going to get crazy.
How many do I need?
So
12, right?
But before we continue, I'd like to thank Dashlane for sponsoring today's video. As we spend more time online in recent days, it's more important than ever to protect yourself. Dashlane makes it easy to manage everything. They autofill all your personal info like addresses, credit cards, and passwords. They also have a VPN so you won't be tracked when you're browsing the internet and can access content in any country. They generate super secure passwords, plus the passwords that you do store with them are encrypted, making a password manager the safest place to store your info. The best part is, it's free to download and install on your first device. Click the link in the description to go to dashlane.com/fitmc to begin. What are you waiting for? Now then, let me explain how the furnace is being used as a weapon. You see, since 2B2T's map has received an entire decade of punishment, it requires numerous plugins in order to keep the server running. One of these plugins is the Illegal Items plugin, which is meant to prevent players from having things they shouldn't have, such as 32K sharpness swords, or items not normally obtainable in survival Minecraft. Whenever a player is in a loaded chunk, the Illegal Item plugin begins checking every single storage block for illegal items. If it finds any, it either deletes them or reverts their properties back to normal. But the process of checking each storage block requires a lot of data to be sent. If too many storage blocks are in the same chunk, the amount of data being sent becomes too great, and the player ends up being kicked from the server instantly. When you try to log back in, it kicks you again, right away. This tactic is known as a chunk ban, and has been used with normal storage chests in the past on 2B2T. But recently, it was discovered that furnaces can accomplish the exact same thing even more efficiently. Even though the Minecraft wiki does not list them, furnaces are technically a storage device, since you can place any item you want into the top of them. Because it's a one-block storage unit,
where are you playing? Oh, I'm playing Minecraft, my SMP. It's like a private SMP, but I'm actually about to stream. Probably for, I don't know if it's gonna be for the day, but definitely for now.
And the only easy way to get out of it is to have the server's admin, Housemaster, delete all of the furnaces. So how is
Is there
this
no more
tactic being
pumpkins?
used on the server itself? Well, this past week, a group of players began setting up a furnace
2
trap
skill
at
blocks,
the
2
ruins
carved
of one
pumpkins.
of
Why would I need 2
2B2T's more
carved
well-known
pumpkins?
bases, Ziggy Town. This is where some of the
That's
server's
interesting.
famous illegal bedrock structures from long ago are located, such as the Bedrock Comet and the Bedrock Bunker. Shown here is footage from Redstoner of the chunk trap being set up. As you can see, there are thousands of furnaces all being piled on here. They began advertising a Ziggy Town event promising free kits, food, and book trading for new and experienced players alike. They did this to draw in unsuspecting players so they could be chunk banned from the server. They set up a portal trap that would put players right next to the stack of furnaces. Anyone that went through the portal would be banned instantly. Housemasters swooped in to delete these furnaces. However, because furnaces are easy to create, it was quickly rebuilt and continues to trap players. So now, I'm logging into 2B2T to return to Ziggy Town and see just how effective these furnaces are. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to intentionally get myself chunk banned. Let's do this. I'm on my alt account right now, but the problem is, even though I've got a lot of totems, I only have 1 armor set. So if I get into an actual fight today, I'm not going to be able to last more than 1 or 2 minutes. But that's alright, I just want to be able to see this furnace stack for myself. I want to see if it's actually chunk banning. I recognize this area from the videos I saw of those innocent players getting led to that portal where they were then banned on the other side. It looks like they mined out everything in this layer to make it easier to travel. Now, the portal should be around here somewhere. I've located the portal area, but it is beat up big time. There's definitely been a lot of player activity here over the past 24 hours. Let's take a closer look to see if there's any portals still active. Yep, I called it. Definitely still active. The only thing that seems to be left over is this shulker up here, so I'm going to take a look at it, see what kind of gear is inside, or even potential building materials like furnaces. Can you imagine if they left a furnace shulker here? That'd be nuts. Alright, so it's just typical gear, but hey, you know what? I just realized they've got chorus fruit in there, so let's use that. We could use that to escape if we get trapped. For those of you that don't know, chorus fruit are useful on 2B2T because if you log out and your logout spot gets trapped by obsidian, chorus fruit will let you teleport out as soon as you log back in. So it's a very useful fruit on 2B2T. Definitely. Gappling up so we can spring this trap. Let's see if we actually get chunk banned on the other side. Just popping out of the portal now, and I don't see any furnaces in render distance right now, which would explain why we haven't been chunk banned yet. But let's take a look around. I guarantee the furnaces have to be around somewhere. All right, I'm going to head directly towards the Bedrock Comet now. Okay, so there it is. I'm guessing they're oh my... Wow! That was fast. That was instant. Yup, I am chunk banned. I am now officially chunk banned. So it works. That's insane. All right, I'm gonna wait a few hours, and I'm gonna try to reconnect again to see if we can get back in. All right, I'm back on. It looks like the furnaces are gone for now, but we've got some company. Let me adjust my chat to make it smaller real quick. Yeah, we've got a few bogeys overhead. So let's try and find where all of these furnaces are being rebuilt. Yeah, I can't... Oh my god, look at all these people. It's only a matter of time before they start attacking us, even though we're on an alt and they don't know it's me. Oh my god, do you see the furnaces over there? Oh, wow. And yep, they're starting to investigate me, so I better get over there and take a look at it quick. Because I have the feeling that we're not going to be this peaceful for long. Oh my god, look at all of those furnaces. They are hard at work right away. They have not missed a beat. As soon as Housemaster removed them, they're right back at it. But this guy is starting to try to crystal me, so we need to be prepared for some combat here. And like I said, just stay away. I'm not going to last much longer because I've only got 1 armor set, but at least I can try. I'm leading them into water right now. They can't kill me in the water with end crystals, but they can continue to whittle away my armor with their melee weapons, and that's the problem. Eventually, they're going to destroy one of my armor pieces, and I'll be toast from there. So let's see if I can find a way to lead them a little closer to bedrock, where I could at least try to do a bit more damage before we eventually lose our armor pieces. Man, they are just relentless. They will not stop. It's clear that I'm not the only person that has stumbled upon this place today. They must be used to trying to kill anyone they don't recognize that comes near the furnaces. They might think people are trying to destroy it, stop them from chunk banning people. Who knows? But we've got to get to the low ground right now to try and just make our final stand before disconnecting. It looks like, oh man, the lag is not helping things here. But it looks like we can get down this way. Actually, let's try to escape through the portal first.
Alright. Next, I
we
gotta
make
make a
it
kelp farm. Alright. You know what? At least we're somewhere. At least we got somewhere with this. We got basically all the materials. I'm gonna just take this to go smelt.
Get out of the way, creeper. It's business time. Yeah, I am outnumbered. There's at least 3 guys chasing me right now.